Broadcasting live from the undisclosed location where Ross is hiding at right now. This is the Press the Button. Or, no, it's not Press the Buttons. This is the Strategy Guide Reviews Book of the Month Club. With us this week.
God, you're fired. You're fired.
Oh,
I miss Ross.
Oh, come on.
You know the shameless plugs that you just had to shove in there.
I didn't even mean to.
You totally did. You were like, I have this down. And all I heard was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to shove all these other things in. Plug.
What are you plugging? I don't want to know what you're plugging. Anyway, joining us this week is Mr. Chris Nitz.
Yeah, hi.
What are you drinking tonight, sir?
There we go. I'm drinking, like usual, a fine concoction in my nice blue mason jar of rum and coke.
It's blue? I can't even tell.
Yeah, it's a blue mason jar. You can totally tell that.
I can't tell.
Yep, see?
This is bullshit.
Yeah, you can't tell. I'm sorry, the magic of the internet does apparently not show color. Who knew?
Well, clearly my white balance is off on my camera, and I'm not going to correct that. I'll correct it in post.
It's all right. I don't see color anyway. And also, Miss Carrie Honey, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm going non-alcoholic, and I got myself a mocha frappuccino.
Non-alcoholic? What are you doing?
Because apparently she's going to party hard tomorrow. But, I would have expected at least like Duels.
Yeah, something. Come on.
Gross. No.
No, if you're not going to drink the alcohol, you need to choke down the O'Duels.
No, gross. No.
Well,
no, I wish I had some Kahlua or something here, because I would pour a little bit.
I got a little bit if you want some.
Oh, that helps. But
Yeah,
I think the only liquor we have in the house is Crown, and I ain't touching that.
Fair enough.
What kind of piss water are you drinking?
I am currently drinking a Stone, and this is the actual name of it, the Stone Delicious IPA. An Indian Pale Ale with lemon drop and El Dorado hops.
I am so glad you're drinking an IPA, because I saw a tweet this week that made me think of you.
What was that?
You could tell by a man's beard if they're going to come over and talk to you about an IPA.
Damn, that is so true. That is really so true. Do I look like a hipster douchebag?
Yes, you do.
Oh, no! Say it ain't so!
No, really, you should just go ahead and shave the beard off and just call it a day.
Hey, you know what? After we get through...
No, go back to your two-hearted ale. At least have fish on it.
Chris, I actually have a two-hearted over here. I've got some two-hearted and some of the Delicious IPA. Mixing it up a little bit. I wanted to try the Delicious IPA, plus it was on sale. I was like, what the hell? I'll give it a try.
Was it worth the $2.99 you paid for that six-pack?
It was $8.99, thank you very much. God.
So, really, you got $1 off, because it was really $9.99.
No, it was $2 off. Come on, man. Pinching the pennies. Got another kid on the way. Got to save me some monies. I got to be an alcoholic who is a discerning alcoholic. Come on now. Got to save the monies.
Life is too short to drink cheap beer and wine.
This is good. I like it. It's not bad. And I still have my old standby two-hearted waiting for me in the wings to rescue me. It'll be fine. It'll really work out all right. Now, if you notice, there is another absence on the line. That would be Mr. Ross Polly is out this month. Now, this is kind of funny.
He's not out. He's just missing.
He forgot.
At the current moment. He may join us later. Who knows?
I don't know.
He forgot.
I'm assuming he's DOA at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's nowhere to be found. I mean, son of a bitch just fucking disappeared, dropped off the map, and we were supposed to record tonight. Nowhere to be found. Text his wife, hey, he's out working out. Son of a bitch forgot. So here we are, the three of us, still journeying on.
Hey, you know
Actually,
what?
I believe her exact text was, I didn't know you guys were podcasting. Does he know?
Dear Lord.
That says a lot.
See, do you remember, there was a time when we used to do this every fucking week. Now we can't get together once a month to do it. What the hell has happened to us?
I should have sent out that reminder. I thought about it today.
At least an IM or a tweet or something.
Yeah.
But that's not your job. It's not your job to have to babysit everybody. I blame Ross. I think he's the only one who can be blamed in this case. All the rest of us are here. It's our job to babysit him.
I mean, he did say he was going to try to clear his schedule so he could be here. So if
Yes.
he's really working out, I'll give him this. At least he's doing something healthy.
His busy jet-setting
Where
schedule.
I would just be passed out in my own drool. So there's that.
Well, that's every night, Chris. Come on.
He doesn't have a busy jet-setting schedule. He has a busy league schedule.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
That's true.
Good call.
All right. Well, enough about Ross. So, what are we going to discuss this week, or this month, actually?
Yeah. What is our game of the month?
Well, this week's book of the month was Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, and I picked this for a couple of reasons. One, because I already played it.
Cheater!
Yeah, well, I'm a busy person. I can't even work on the 2 reviews I'm supposed to be right now. It's pathetic. But I did already play it. But this is something I had recommended to everybody at one point in time, and it's a smaller game. It's cheaper, and it's one I really enjoyed. I thought it was fun. It's not as good as the New Order, but it's a really good parody of Wolfenstein in general. So that is why I picked it. I mean,
parody, like parody or parity, like
parody.
Parody? Okay,
It's a parody of Wolfenstein, of everything Wolfenstein, including the New Order, which I thought was just genius that they would make fun of themselves. Actually, and it makes fun of everything Nazi as well. Every Nazi cliche you can think of is thrown in there and exploited. I mean, it's not as deep or as dark as the New Order, but it wouldn't work for what this is. I found some of the gameplay frustrating as I learned what the word twitchy meant thanks to this, that it's a very twitchy shooter.
Well, hey, actually, before we go too far down this road, were you playing, because I know sometimes you'll actually play the games on lower difficulties. Were you playing this on normal, or were you playing it on
I was playing on normal.
Okay.
I think I got through about 3/4 of the game, and I was like, okay, fuck this shit, and I knocked it down to easy so I could just get through it so I could do my review. And the other thing is that the difficulty parodies between them is very drastic. I mean, like on easy, which I think was Please Don't Hurt Me. I didn't do Daddy Can I Play a Game. I just went down to Please Don't Hurt Me.
So you're a child. You look like a child, but you don't have the bonnet and pacifier in.
Well, he looks afraid, like, please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
And I did this one stealth attack, and I hit. It was like a heavy. I was like, I wonder if you can do a stealth attack on these guys with your lead pipe. And the answer is no, you can't. But on the Please Don't Hurt Me, I hit him in the back of the head, so it went tink. He doesn't even turn around. So like, tink, tink, tink. It's like 4 times attacking him. Before he finally turned around, I was like, oh, where'd you come from?
Oh, hey, peekaboo. How you doing?
Which, like, in normal, if I had done that, I bet I would have stepped on a creaky board and the fucker would have turned around and opened fire on me. So
it's like throwing pebbles at a big daddy. It's just like, it's not doing anything.
Yes, kind of. But so those are my thoughts on it. I mean, I think I went over this in great length before I reviewed the game, but what did y'all think of it? Chris, did you even get very far in it? Because you're playing the New Order as well.
I'm on chapter 4 now, I do believe. And I tried to... I actually turned down the difficulty just so I could actually kind of plow through it, and then I realized that I was just not... It wasn't going to happen, so I upped the difficulty back again, So 4... I'm trying to think. Level 4, is that...
It's
after the guy with the dog puts you in the electric chair.
Okay, and you have to escape from that room. You gotta get
so
out
it's
of it.
shortly after that.
Sure.
Where you watch the dog eat the guy.
Eat the guy, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I know I said this on our podcast yesterday, but I mean the whole time, because you're strapped into that and you're looking out, and the dog is still eating the guy.
Oh yeah.
Like
and
you can
just
watch it and you can hear it. I'm like, seriously, can we stop this shit right now? Like, I can't stop. I can't deal with this anymore.
And all you hear in the background.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck? And I have to say, as somebody who is a dog lover, I had a really tough time with the whole concept of it being just a regular occurrence that you have to just stab a dog to death.
Yeah, I mean, you had to do that in the New Order as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
It got a little easier in the New Order because more and more dogs you came across were less dogs and more mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but
I
in
hated it,
the
but
new order, it's more a quick time event to stab the
yeah.
dogs. Where this one is just like as soon as a dog is in your face, you're just like, oh yeah, right button, right trigger, and you're stabbing the dog.
Or
You sneak up on them when they're laying down,
yeah,
and you
that's
just
what
like knock
bothers.
them out, and you're just like,
See,
okay.
that's what bothers me. It's when you're sneaking up on a dog that's resting and just
Mhm.
fucking destroying it. I'm just like, good God, really?
But you have
No,
to.
well,
But
I
Oh, I know.
justified it because that dog was going to tear me apart, and I'd be the dude
I
laying on
know.
the floor having my guts eaten out while some big fucking roided out dude is tormenting somebody else.
So later on in the game, you have a full-on boss encounter with that guy, and at some point they're just throwing waves and waves and waves of Nazis at you. And at one point, Blazkowicz goes, "Jesus, how many fucking Nazis are there?"
yes. Oh my God! But he said he's like, how many Nazis? I think he said fucking Nazis. Like, how many
Yeah.
Nazis are there? It was.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I lost it.
Me
was
too.
It was that, and there was that same boss fight. I'm sorry, Chris, if you haven't gotten there, but
Oh, that's fine.
because everybody's in the basement, and you keep them in
Yeah.
the basement, and those waves of Nazis come in, he takes care of them. He opens up the basement door and goes, "It's all clear." Oh, Matty gun! Never mind.
Never mind. It was like full-on Looney Tunes. Never mind. And then he comes, and this big old roided out looking motherfucker is sitting there telling you how he's going to whip you, tear you apart, because my poor little Fluffy, you hurt my poor little Fluffykins. And it's just like, oh, she was nothing but a little loving dog.
Yeah.
She was gentle and kind to everyone she met. And he's telling you what a horrible person you are for killing this dog after you just saw him eating someone. You saw him not more than an hour ago eating someone's face off. It's just like, what the hell?
Oh, but it was very comical.
I've actually found myself, at least in the bits that I've played so far, stopping to actually listen to all the conversations because the conversations are just, and they're not like small snippets of conversations. They go
like multiple
on
minutes.
and
Oh, yeah.
on. You're like, the first one I stumbled upon was a guy talking to what's her face, and she's talking about the wand, and he's kind of flirting with her, and I was like, okay, this is cute. 2 minutes go by, and I was like, oh, you're still talking about what your wand, and you're still flirting with her.
Yep.
And the 5 minute mark passes by, and I was like, good lord, how long are you gonna flirt with this chick? How long are you gonna ban your wand? Because I really want to keep playing.
Yeah, it's like, come on, buddy, just close the deal or get the fuck out. Come on.
Just seal this up or call it a day.
Yeah, no shit, man. Good lord, this is way too much effort. Come on.
But hey, let's face it, we all got to the grammar Nazi, which was pretty
Yes,
awesome.
we did.
So I was laying with the girl. Were you laying or lying? What? You lie with the girl. You lay something down. Do you want to hear the story or not? I'm just trying to preserve our language.
I'm just trying to preserve the natural beauty of our
The
language.
Oh, God.
I was just like, all of a sudden I hear Carrie in the back of my head going, no, this is how this works.
Yeah,
Lay
exactly.
versus lie. This is how this works out, Chris.
No. That starts out with, listen up, motherfucker. That's how that sentence always starts. God damn it. But no, I guess now that I look back on it, yes, I can see that it was kind of a parody or a send-up on that. But I will say that I guess I didn't really think of it as a blatant send-up. I thought of it as just being ridiculously over the top, and that's the way the Wolfenstein games always were.
If you played the New Order,
Yeah, the New Order is way more serious.
the New Order is extremely serious, and there's so many things that happen in the New Order that this directly makes fun of. Like in the New Order, BJ, when he's by himself and these, he'll have kind of these inner monologues, and they're very serious and very dark. And then in the Old Blood, he'll start doing that as kind of words like, "Yeah, he's going to do this." And then I heard him say, "But there was no candy today." I was like, "What?" Because if you listen to it, it's totally making fun of the fact he would have those inner monologues.
Okay. All right. See, I didn't have that context. However, there were moments like that where he's sitting there saying, well, I need to meet up with so and so back here
Yes.
at the base, and I need to find him. And why am I telling this to myself?
Yes.
And he just kind of like just blows in the face, breaking down that fourth wall, where it's just like, oh, hey, this is kind of awesome. Where I guess I didn't see that it was more earnest in the New Order. I haven't played that much of it.
Yeah, well, there's this one in the New Order that really stuck with me. It's the first time he jumps into water and is swimming, and he has his inner monologue about one of the first times he went swimming and almost drowned. And it's like this really long thing. He talks about like how cold that water was and how he, and it was very serious. I was like, oh my gosh, but I could see, maybe, especially since he's had some brain damage, like what flashbacks he might have. And so he did that about everything, and it could be considered annoying, I guess, but to me it was very, very deep and very insightful, especially with what happens in the end. But so to make fun of that in the Old Blood, because he would do it about ridiculous things. When I started really listening to it, I was like, okay, they're so making fun of that. And then, of course, the biggest Nazi cliche of them all. Have you guys gotten to the Nazi zombies?
No, I have not yet.
Okay.
What happens? You can tell me at this point.
Well, I mean, because like Nazis, like I won't tell you how it happens, but because they are trying to find these spiritual artifacts. Sure. And it unlocks which the Nazis actually were doing, and unlocks the thing, and it is this huge explosion, and like I got this one GIF. I need to upload it again. That had like he's coming out. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Because everyone's on fire and he's running, and then this Nazi just drops from the sky. It's on fire. He goes, "It's fucking raining Nazis." and then the Nazis get up. He goes, "And they're fucking alive. What the fucking fuck?" And he's just shooting at them. Chris, like, he never understands what's going on. I was like, they actually had Nazi zombies. They actually put in Nazi zombies.
That fell from the sky!
Yeah.
That flaming zombie Nazis.
It's mainly because of the explosion where they were falling and on fire, but...
That's awesome. See, I liked a lot of things about this game. However, as somebody who, as of late, I haven't been really playing a whole lot of stealth first-person shooter type games, and honestly, I haven't played that many stealth first-person shooters to begin with. I've found a lot of the early stages to be kind of difficult because I was playing it on whatever the highest difficulty is that you can play it the first time around.
Uber?
I don't know. Whichever.
You can play Uber the first time.
Yeah, well then that's what I was playing it on.
Well, that's your fault.
Well, I'm not complaining. All I'm saying is that, and what I did is I started out on that. I bumped it down to get through some of the stealth stuff, and then I bumped it back up again. And some of those stealth missions, they don't really explain themselves well. Like the whole, the dude on the track that he's got the cord hanging down from him, the big heavies. They don't really explain the fact that that there's an alternate way to dispatch them other than shutting down the generator and sneaking up and killing them. The fact that you can shoot the cords off of their back, they never say anything about that. And so I sat there for almost an hour trying to stealth my way through that before I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can shoot that thing, I bet you. And I shot it, and sure enough, sure as shit, the cord goes flying out and the guy just drops. I could have done that this entire freaking game. But I had no idea, and a lot of that stuff, maybe it would have made more sense if I'd played the New Order. I'm not sure.
No, because those guys are not in. They're not in the New Order. Now,
I feel like
I didn't have.
They are in the New Order. They're just not tethered to a electrical cable.
And they're not exactly like that either. They weren't as difficult to defeat. I don't remember having problems with them in the New Order. I had massive problems killing them in the Old Blood.
Well, in the New Order, you can shoot them in the face. In the Old Blood, you have to shoot that little blue spark ball thing, and then you have to run up. And in the New Order, you basically just shoot them in the face and call it a day. In the Old Blood, you have to shoot that blue ball thing, run up, and do like you have to
quick time.
You have to
little crowbar.
the chest plate out, then run back, shoot that blue ball thing again, and then run up and stuff your pipe into their chest, and that finally fucking kills them.
Wow. But for every time you told me that.
Or you happen to find one of their weapons and unload it on the other
Oh,
one because
yeah.
that'll start. But no, actually,
That's what I would do.
I never knew by shooting the cord it would
Mhm.
dispatch them, because I had no problems with the stealth with
Mhm.
dispatching them with the stealth. I didn't have any issues with that. I preferred them with the darn cable, because then I could stealthily take them out over
See,
having to fight them, because they would just charge at you, and oh my god.
You see, I found it out by mistake because I got one. I killed the first one, got his gun, and the first 5 or 6 times that I died, like I literally probably did this 15 times.
Oh, I probably did too. I know there's one sequence I had a big problem with.
It was really rough, and so I just at one point just said, "Fuck it." I take the chain gun and I just unload it on this fucker, thinking maybe I can just kill him. And then all of a sudden the cord goes flying off. He drops down, and I take him out, and I'm like, the cord can be shot down, and so you can take it out that way. And that's when I realized that was actually the approach you're supposed to be taking this entire fucking time, but it never says anything about it.
Not really, you're supposed to be stealthing your way through it.
Well, yes, but also the most dipshitty heavies in the history of humanity, they see you, they shoot unknown numbers of rounds at you, yet 30 seconds later, doop-a-doop-a-doo, I forgot they're there. Like, I mean, come on, guys. If you're going to make a stealth game, maybe give them a little bit of brain.
Well, except that these aren't humans.
Yeah, but, I mean, still, if they can be conscious enough to, like, and this is something that I found is, okay, so they reach that conscious period in the AI where they're like, all right, it's time to forget that you exist, and they just move on, and they go back to running their track. If you come out 3 seconds before that, it's not even like, okay, I stuck my head out for 10 seconds and they saw me and came after me. It's a matter of the moment any part of you dips out from behind something, boom, there's that fucker, and you're toast.
Yeah.
There's no retention.
When they're not tethered, though, they never forget. Because they just come after your ass.
Yeah. Which I Now, however, I did find it interesting that there were certain levels that if you kind of hold up in one position, you could cheese the hell out of big encounters. Where you instead, like the one where you were talking about, Chris, where you have deal with them all in the electrical chair. If you run up the stairs to where they have all the weaponry cache right there, just stay in that room. Never leave. They'll all just run right to you. If you go down the stairs, they realize that there's a stairwell that they can come up to get you, and they'll start surrounding you. If you never go down those stairs, they never come up it to find you. So you just stand at the top, let them walk in front of the door, and you shoot them. And you just keep doing it until they all die.
Actually, I think that was my strategy for most of the New Order.
So in other words, you just cheese the hell out of the game.
When I realized that it was too easy to get surrounded, I would hole up in a room, and when they would find what room I was in and come in, I could just pick them off as they were coming in through the door. Get
them to just funnel down a long hallway. That was my approach a lot of the time.
Well, I mean, that's shit. I did that in Gears with the Lambent sometimes.
Oh yeah, but at least with Gears, you had a wider hallway or a wider channel of attack. Like this, it is like when you hear that a corridor shooter, this is as corridory as they get. Like it's one person, single file, running right down the road, right directly at you. That's all you've got to deal with. And it's like, okay, I'm going to stand at the doorway outside of this long hallway that you're coming at me through, and I'm going to just pick you off one by one as you come down.
You say that, like, that is true, like you only have one person coming down, but you can still get surrounded on both sides, and it's very vertical. So my problem was with being stealthy was that I wouldn't know there was that one asshole way up there who happened to look down. I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, or you kill somebody and you go about your way trying to take out more people, and then about 4 minutes later you hear, "Attention! Attention!" It's like, motherfucker found a dead body. Damn it!
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, then all hell breaks loose. And all right, and this was a big pet peeve of mine, and this kind of drove me a little crazy, is that you could have moments where you're sitting there and you're in the middle of a battle, you're doing fine. Everything's all working out for you. You think that you have it all wrapped up, and you've stealthily killed everyone. And then you get to the end, and you realize that there is a heavy, that there is no way to stealthily take them out. There's nothing you can do about it. And the moment he spots you, it's going to spawn all hell breaking loose. So it's like I just fucking wasted this entire time because I could have set it off with the first person and just fought my way up and been through with it instead of having to deal with the heavy, run and hide, and then have everybody respawn around me and just converge on me.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, it really bothered me. However, I did think that it was funny that, and this is something I did notice as I was playing this game, and I'm not sure if the AI is designed this way or what, but if there was an area that you didn't go to, enemies would never go there. So, like, for example, that thing where you would go up to the top where you had the weapons, and there was one doorway that went out into, like, the lecture hall room area, and then there was that back hallway. If you never stepped foot into that back hallway, nobody would ever come up that back hallway to try to attack you.
Interesting.
The moment that you stepped down those stairs, however, it's like all of a sudden you flipped a switch, and it's like, oh, this is now active area where they can try to come at you from. But if you just stayed up there at the top, they'd never touch it.
Huh.
Yeah, so I guess I approach games a little differently because I kind of think about the programming side of it and how they would kind of do AI, and so sometimes I'll just kind of sit there and end up unintentionally cheesing something out, and then I'll figure out later. I was like, oh, that's why that did that. You know, I didn't break this threshold, and so this whole path of attack was completely invisible.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, I found it kind of interesting. And that's how, especially a lot of those big encounters, that's how I ended up doing it. It's like you said, I just kind of find a spot where I just kind of sit there and wait, and when I ran out of ammo, I'd quickly run down the hallway, steal as much as I can. And
yes.
And by the way, pressing square to pick up ammo, what is this, the 1940s? Come on. Just pick it up as you walk over them.
I don't even remember if you had to manually pick up ammo in the New Order. I really don't.
You had to. I know you had to do it in the old school Wolfenstein games.
You do have to do it in the New Order too.
Okay. Well, you have to in Gears.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a pet peeve of mine. Like, why? Come on, guys, we've grown up. Just pick up the ammo automatically.
Wow, that's kind of lazy because to me it was pretty easy to just run around pressing.
Yeah, but it's also easy
X.
when you have like 10 pieces of ammo when you're all maxed out that are all piled on top of each other, but then you've got one piece of armor that's under all of that shit that you want to pick up, but you can't because it's covered by things that you're maxed out of. That kind of pisses me off. That bothers me.
I've never had that problem, so.
Yeah, me neither.
I ran into that the whole killing everybody in the hallway thing that led to a big pile up of stuff, and that's when I would run into that situation. I had it happen to me several times.
Even I didn't have that problem. Even when I killed a bunch of people in a small corridor, I was able to pinpoint where the armor pieces were because they glow orange, and it's usually a helmet or body armor,
yes, it is.
which
but the problem
is
was
very different from the ammo that's lying there.
There was ammo all around it, and I had to get at it and come at it from this weird back-assward angles in order to finally be able to select that one.
Sounds like you suck at games.
Okay,
I mean,
fine.
That's what I'm hearing.
It sounds like maybe the PS4 version's not so good.
That's possible.
Maybe because I was playing it on Xbox One, and I've not had this problem with either the New Order or Blood. So
I never had that problem either, and that was what Bethesda gave me was Xbox One copies. Like they didn't even ask me. They didn't even ask me what I wanted. They just gave me Xbox One codes. Interesting,
because everybody pretty much is going with lead SKU on PS4. Isn't that kind of the common thing? At least that's the narrative that I had heard. It's more unless it's console exclusive, you're normally getting a lead SKU on PS4. Okay, that's fine. I'm just. Anyway.
I think Bethesda has always had this big rapport with Xbox products to begin with.
That's true.
So.
I mean, they had Fallout exclusively for a long time on PS or on Xbox, so that makes sense.
And yet, I did not pre-order Fallout 4 on the Xbox. I pre-ordered it on PS4.
See, I haven't. I actually pre-ordered it and got the special edition with the Pip-Boy thing.
So did I.
But I realized I was like, I don't really want this that much, and so I canceled my pre-order. I was just like, yes, I know it's hard to get, and I kind of got the magic draw with this. I'm like, but I really don't care that much, and it's not worth what was it, $130?
Yeah, I decided I pre-ordered it, and if I change my mind later, I can cancel it, and it won't be one of those things that, but I should have So.
See, I did the same thing with the Halo Collector's Edition, the Halo 5, one, the $240
Oh no,
super pack.
I was not going to spend that much on Halo.
However, I have both the limited edition and the collector's edition pre-ordered, with the thought being that if I decide that I don't want the collector's edition, I'll just cancel it and get the limited edition.
Mm-hmm.
However, I did hear that the collector's edition doesn't come with physical discs. What the fuck?
What's up with that?
They want to give you a digital copy so you can play it immediately. And so if you buy the collector's edition, they're shipping it out early and you can get it early. However, you just get the download code that has an unlock on it. But you don't get a physical disc.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at Amazon right now, and that's for the collector's edition. It comes out a week early,
right?
Which is a $250.
Which means you can pre-order it. And you see, and if I bought it through Best Buy, and because I get a 20% discount, I think it was $190 or something like that. But still, it's a shit ton of money. But
yeah.
And when I heard that it was only digital, that kind of sealed the fate where I'm like, I'm probably not going to get this. But then Microsoft said, well, if you want to send us your digital code, we'll mail you a physical copy. And I'm thinking to myself, are you guys going to get this here? Are you going to have a week turnaround so that I can have it in time for the release?
Nope.
Because if I'm not going to get it in time for the release, who else is going to spend $250 on this fucking game other than the hardcore people? I mean, come on.
I want to play it early. I mean, it will boost our Twitch streams like no tomorrow.
You can't play it early. You can download it early, but it's got the unlock at midnight, whatever time it is.
Mm-hmm. The preloading.
Yeah, you can preload it. That's what it is.
Which takes like a fucking day on Xbox.
Oh my god. Okay.
I've never preloaded anything. Forget it, you know?
See,
I preloaded shit on Steam and it took less time than it does on Xbox.
All right. While we're ranting about downloads, I bought the Old Blood digitally over PS4. Mistake number one. It says 6 gigabytes downloading until you can play it. So I'm like, fantastic. So I wait for the 6 gigabytes to download. I get ready to start playing. Turns out that 6 gigabytes is just the prologue of the game, which takes all of, 10 minutes, maybe?
Really? You want to go this far? Because on Xbox One, you can download like less than a gig, and it's like ready to play. And you know what you get? The fucking title screen. You get to watch that shit over and over and over while it downloads the entire rest of the game, because it's ready to play means you can watch the title screen while the rest of the game fucking downloads.
And it doesn't even show you a friggin' the progress update.
Yes, it does.
On PS4, it doesn't. The only way that you can do that.
Does.
No, on PS4, the only way that you can tell.
No, on PS4, you can go into your downloads and you can see exactly where all your percentages are.
Chris.
On Xbox One, you can go into the queue and see where all your percentages are.
All right.
I know this because I've downloaded games on both consoles.
Chris, hold on.
Wow.
It will show you your progress for whatever it is until you get to that quote-unquote ready-to-play point.
Nope.
Let me finish, damn it. Once you get to that point, you then need to go in. Once you launch the game, the only way to see where you're at past that is to go into the settings, data management, then look at the Wolfenstein, the New Order, and then it'll show you the download progress to where you're actually at.
Sorry that you don't do this enough, apparently, because every time I download something, I go into notifications.
I did this 3 days ago.
Okay, so the moral of the story is you don't buy it when they say you can play while it's downloading, because that's not true. Technically it's true, but the way that it unloads the packaging, not so much. So you're going to download your game? Great. You start it that morning, and then that evening when you're home from work and whatever, you can...
Yep.
It's all downloaded and ready to play.
If you're on Xbox One, just drink your coffee, wake up the next day, get your coffee, and hope that your download's finished.
See,
the PS4 it'll be done quicker than Xbox One.
This is the same thing that they did the same thing with Master Chief Edition on Xbox One, where 2 of the games were on disc, everything else was a download. And so you could play the 2 that were on the disc, everything else you had to sit there and wait for any of that to download.
My Master Chief Edition, because I bought the white Xbox One, that was a fucking... It
was preloaded on there, right?
No. You had to do the digital download, and it took, I think, 28 hours to download that entire...
My God.
It was terrible. I started it. I looked at it. I was like, okay. And it gave me that it gave me that whole you can play the game, and I was like, no, because I already did this with Sunset Overdrive. It was like, oh, you can play it, and I was like, okay, great, I can play it, and all it does is replay the fucking title screen. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not tricked into this again.
Sure.
I literally started it at like 3 o'clock one afternoon, and it wasn't until noon the next day that I got.
And I wish that I had made a full-size window of this IM conversation and made a screenshot of it, because he was just so angry, and I was like, "Where's my popcorn? This is so entertaining."
You talking about me or Chris?
Me. Yeah. I was so irritated because it's like, even on PlayStation 4, when I download, because PlayStation 4 compresses their games, so when you download a 50 gig game, it comes across as 12 gigs and then it uncompresses when it's finally on your system. Xbox apparently is like, fuck it, we're going to send you the entire 50 gigs, and you're just going to wait, because this isn't BitTorrent, bitches. We're going to go into DSL.
Or like when they did it with, what was it? It was Assassin's Creed, I think it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag when they updated that one, and they literally just replaced, it wasn't like they just sent you a few updated files. They literally sent you the entire fucking game over again and rewrote everything on it. So it was like
Unity.
Yeah, it was like, all right, so you've got a 60 gig install, followed by another 60 gig download to replace everything that was on your install.
Yeah,
and like, come on.
And really, Microsoft, come on. Some of us have data caps. We can't afford 100 gigs.
Which, by the way, I've hit my data cap twice this fucking month. Twice.
Yeah, I'm about 100 megs away. So by the time this is done recording, I will be well over mine.
All right. So here's what Microsoft says about you and your data caps.
Fuck you.
I'm guessing. Yeah, deal with it.
Deal with it.
I'm pretty sure Microsoft just went, oh look, I found this under my chair, and just held up this finger, just this one finger.
It's a
they got the sunglasses on. I mean, deal with it.
Deal with it.
I think
the good old GIF of the 8-bit sunglasses coming down. They're like, yeah, deal with it.
I pictured Bill Gates, and then he's like, data caps? What are data caps?
No. I picture them bringing back Adam Orth. Deal with it.
That would be amazing. Yeah. But, I mean, overall, getting back to the game, I genuinely did like it, and I made it through, I want to say, I think I was midway through Chapter 7 when I stopped.
You're almost done.
I was.
There's 8 chapters.
It was 2:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. I got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
But yes, over 3 nights, I managed to get through all that. And by the way, I gotta say, for a $20 download, or in this case, now it's actually available at retail by the time you're listening to this, as a $20 retail purchase, you are getting a shit ton of game of like awesome,
and that's pretty
full first-person shooter action. I mean, you're getting anywhere, depending upon your difficulty, you get anywhere between 6 and probably 12 to 13 hours out of this game.
And if you want to, there's the arcade mode.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go through and you try to get so many points by doing these certain firefights. And I did a couple of them. I was like, yeah, I didn't like this scene the first time I did it. I'm not going to do this for funsies.
Yeah, and it is like horde mode, isn't it, kind of?
Kind of, yeah.
Horde mode. Now, I do have to ask, just because I'm curious, did any of you actually finish the nightmare levels?
I finished one.
You finished one?
I finished one. Because I
finished them in every level that I played.
I finished one because, like, again, I was reviewing it, so I wanted to see, like, what happened if you got through a level.
A trophy.
Well, but apparently you can't. There is a final boss in the last one that you can't open unless you do all the nightmare levels. Yeah.
And that's when you get Mecha Hitler, I'm assuming.
I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't do that, but it's one of those games that I wouldn't mind going back through and trying to find where those nightmare levels are and kind of going through, because it was entertaining.
Oh yeah, it was really fun, and it was this weird juxtaposition of like this pixelated Wolfenstein 3D textures with your fully rendered 3D first-person perspective, highly detailed. Your ammo is highly detailed, and you can jump, which you couldn't do in Wolfenstein. You can aim up and down, shoot for body parts, things like that. Stuff that you couldn't do in Wolfenstein, where it was literally just aim along an x-axis, and that was it. So, I mean, I thought that was kind of fun. And though I will say, it made it really fucking hard to shoot dogs in that.
Well, because the dogs are cute.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It was that they were so low to the ground. And previously in Wolfenstein, because you're just aiming along an X-plane, I was like, all right, I'm just going to aim along that plane and shoot. No, you got to aim downwards at those fuckers. In fact, what I found is it's easier to, if you see a dog's coming, to crouch and just start shooting straight, because then you'll actually hit them.
That's what I did for most of them, because they would always shoot above me, and I'd just shoot at their knees.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and honestly, I almost enjoyed those more than the game itself.
Well, they had put the nightmare level in the New Order, and that was like as a little Easter egg. Was it just one level? I don't know, because I don't know if you could go all the way through it, because I played it for about 20 minutes before I got killed, so it might have been just an endless thing. I honestly have no idea. I didn't get that far, because in the Old Blood, when you play through it, you actually have that map, that map you can see where you have gone. Sure. There was not that in the New Order. Which, by the way, I wish more games would put that in, where you could just see a map of where you're at. Right? I get it I get that it would kind of take away the surprise of the whole game. I understand that. But for Christ's sakes, at least show me an outline, like a little fuzzy outline of where the hell I've been, so I can tell if I'm accidentally backtracking or not. That would be fantastic. Especially in these first-person shooters where it's very easy, because everything looks very similar, to get yourself turned around and not even realize it. Oh, Halo 2? Oh, yeah, the library. Halo 2? For sure. Yeah, the library. It's the fucking worst. Just like the original Halo 2, because everything looks fucking alike. But but the library in Halo 1 was God, it was the worst. Because you went through like 8 or 9 pods that look exactly the same. Alike, yeah. Yep, and God help your poor soul if you got turned around. You get all the way back to the entrance and go, I haven't seen a lot of enemies lately. God damn it! Then you realize. But, I mean, it was really fun. I genuinely enjoyed it, and I fully intend to go back and finish it next week while my wife and son are back in Michigan. I've got all the gaming time I could ever want other than when I'm at work, so I plan on at least finishing that. So that'll be fun. I was going to ask you if you were going to finish it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've really enjoyed it. And in fact, I have the New Blood sitting on my shelf. I've played like maybe 25... The New Order? The New Order. I've got maybe 25 or 30 minutes in, and I'm fighting off the urge to go and play that too. It feels old, though I will say, this is the first Wolfenstein game, other than the New Order, that I have played on a console, and that feels weird. I can see that. It feels genuinely weird. Yeah. So that's, yeah. Yep, Ross just sent me a text back. Well, I fucked up. Yes, you did, asshole. God damn yes, right. You did. God damn. So Chris, you're liking it, yes? Oh yeah, I plan on finishing this, and I've also been playing the New Order like side by side, so they're both really good games. I actually enjoy the humor more on the Old Blood, but it's a very stark contrast to what is going on in the New Order. So yes, very much so. Like, you can play the New Order for a couple chapters, and then you're like, I really need a break. And then you play the New Blood, and you're like, ha ha ha, that's great. Your conversations crack me up. Oh, I have to kill a dog. Okay, that's fantastic. I have to sneak up on a dog from behind and mutilate it. No, usually the dog jumps in my face, and I have to stick my pipe in its neck. Like several times. Several times. And then the blood squirts out. Did you know there was a block button? Yeah. I didn't know that until after I'd been killed by about 10 dogs. Like, if you hit the L2 button, you get a block. I had no idea that was a thing. So yeah, I got killed. My least favorite thing about the
the Old Blood is the fact that the pipe, because you separate it, right? So if you're doing the whole sneaking thing, is every once in a while you'll sneak up on a dog, and like I have no problems killing the dogs because I'm like they're just virtual dogs. But it's when you stick the pipe in their neck and then you take the other end of the pipe and beat it into
Bash
their
it
neck,
in. It's
and
just
then
like
the blood squirts out from the opening end of the pipe. I'm just like, okay, I didn't really need to see that.
I wasn't trying to drill a well in their brain.
Yeah, that's the only time that I'm like, okay, I've killed a lot of dogs in a lot of video games, but having to see the part where you're like, oh, I couldn't get it far enough in. Here, let me take the other end of this pipe. It just
into your brain.
And you hear the tank, and then you see the blood squirt, and I'm just like, okay. Thankfully, that is like 1 out of like 5 kills, so at least I can do that. I can space that out so that I'm just killing Nazis.
I did think it was funny. I saw a thing where they were talking about it in the feedback that they got last year at Gamescom when they showed it for the first time, and they were like, we knew we were onto something with our kill animations when we showed it, and the room collectively gasped and went, ugh, and recoiled when they saw it. They're like, that's when we knew we were onto something. I was like,
right.
Especially over in Europe, because they're much more sensitive about violence than we are.
Are you kidding me? I still cringed the first few times. I was like, dear God!
And let's face it, I mean, if that makes me cringe, I play Mortal Kombat X, and there are some pretty violent brutalities. And
you literally shear someone in half.
Oh, that's not even half of it.
No.
That's, I mean, shearing somebody in half is like tame.
But the front part of their body shears off like a fucking piece of bologna.
Oh no! When Melina like pins them down and rips their guts apart and is eating them as you're pulling away.
All right,
yeah,
that's
like I was telling Chris that I was watching the Mortal Kombat Championships this last weekend, and you know they were so like tuned to what they're doing. They're not really doing fatalities, so I was kind of able to watch it with Gabe and. With Melina and Raiden, and Melina won. The guys had to do fatality, and I was like, "Well, this can't be that bad." I'm like, like, covering the screen because she straddles against her sides and just keeps stabbing him. And as she's stabbing him so much, he's trying to pull away, and then his upper torso rips
just pulls
away.
apart. Oh yeah. God!
No, that's Melina.
And then she picks up his entrails and just bathes them all over her body, and it's like Melina wins fatality. I'm like, you think? God.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, is pretty tame, but still, there's just that moment where, like, you have the pipe in the dog's neck, and then you have to swing it, and then the blood squirts out from the tube. I'm just like, okay.
Well, let's also clarify that you don't have to do anything to interact with that. It all happens automatically.
Oh, yeah, it totally.
But still, it's
not like you're physically tapping.
Yeah, it's not like tap X to chisel face off. It's not like that or anything.
No.
But and by the way, that piece of pipe, most useful piece of metal since the crowbar in Half-Life. Dear God.
Oh hell yeah. The fact that he doesn't even have to unscrew it, like the amount of time he's just like, oh, I'm gonna give it a half turn, and now I'm gonna climb up this wall. I'm gonna give it a half turn, and it's a full solid pipe. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to yell, "Motherfucker, tee off!" or 4, just swing.
Oh come on, it's a video game.
I know it's a video game, but at the same time, I'm thinking about all the pipes that I've done, and I'm like, no, you hit one person over the head, and that pipe is splitting in half because that pipe isn't really screwed together.
Well, keep in mind, this is also a pipe that they use to climb their way up a wall.
Yeah, I love the pipe, actually. I really wish the pipe was in the New Order, because
gosh, I wish I could mark that. The Chris loves the pipe.
I do.
Yep,
I love the pipe. I love taking the pipe deep. I love just burying that pipe deep in somebody's...
Well, your wife turned around on that one. I will say, though, also, he likes the cracked pipes.
Yeah.
Yep. He's all about the cracked pipes.
It doesn't matter. I really wish that there was more sneaking around in the New Order. Because I've actually, there's a part of me that I've enjoyed that up to a point, and then after I've been spotted a couple times and I have to restart the level, I'm just like, fuck it. And I go in guns a-blazing. I'm just like, I've had enough. But
the New Order, it's a lot more optional.
This one, it feels very forced.
It does. You can definitely tell where they want you to stealth versus where they're just like, here's your guns, go in, have fun.
Well, and Chris, you missed it when Carrie and I were talking. But how about those ones where you stealth your way all the way through the level, through like one of the settings, you stealth your way all the way through it, get to the very end, and there's a fucking heavy there that automatically will throw the trigger, and all of a sudden you're just swarmed with people all over again. It's like, man, I should have just went in guns a-blazing to begin with.
I've actually restarted those levels.
Yeah, because it's fucking bullshit.
And then found my way around that, so...
Well, there were a couple of times there was only one way through it, and you had to go buy a heavy.
Yeah, there was, and there's a couple times there was. I think it's when you start at the end of level, chapter 3, beginning of chapter 4, where you think you can stealth your way through it, and then there's like 3 snipers all sitting up higher than you, and there's no way to avoid them, and you're
that's part of the escape mission, right? I think it's escape.
It's right before you go into the electric chair, but I was like...
The one that I have in mind was shortly after the electric chair.
I was like, okay, so I restarted that level, I think 4 times, thinking that I was going to be able to like sneak my way through it, and finally I realized, no, they just want me to use my guns and shoot these people down. I was like, okay, so there's obviously not an achievement for like stealthing your way through the levels. So
there's just the opportunity to unlock perks.
Which is nice. Like when you can get a bigger magazine for things, or you get better power on a weapon. That's super helpful. Well, all right. So what was your favorite weapon?
It's so sad. It's been so long.
I did the shotgun. The shotgun was my favorite.
Did you get the railgun? Or it's not a railgun. It's kind of like a. I don't know how else to describe it other than I think it's kind of like a bowcaster where you're literally just like shooting a literal like rail at someone.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Think the Half-Life railgun where you literally are just
shooting. No, I understand. I get what you're getting at.
I do like that one. That one was fun. I think the shotgun, especially when the Nazi zombies came in, that was pretty much a must to have the shotgun because that's the only way to blow them apart.
And you can fire it in full auto. That was pretty awesome.
I also liked one of the handguns that you could actually use to snipe people with, because I think it had a silencer, so I used that a lot to do my headshots.
That was the only one I think.
No,
I don't remember.
Yeah, the handgun with the silencer is what I used to take out a lot of the captains. When he had like the detective, like he had 1 or 2 people that could sound an alarm, and you could see them off in the distance. I was like, and I just handgunned them with the silencer and take them out.
Pop. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was always my first thing. Was like try to find those captains. It's like, where are they? Because one thing I will say about between the New Order and the Old Blood is that the New Order, if I was seen by a captain, it was usually very easy to find where he holds himself up and where to turn off the alarm. In the Old Blood,
that's a pain in the ass.
I could never find where to turn off the alarm. So it really, because it was just because they would never hang out by it.
Hold on, you could turn off the alarms?
You can turn off the alarms.
I didn't even know you could.
You have to find it, and then the Old Blood, I was like, oh fuck it, this is too difficult. So
I would just clear a level. I would just clear a level and wait for it to stop.
So if I got seen by a captain, I would just restart. And
if you got seen by a captain, you could either take out the captain. And eventually that alarm would finally go off, but you had to clear out all the enemies that it spawned. You could find where the alarm is at.
He runs and holds himself up, and so then to get to him
at the very end of the level.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to go through everyone in order to get to this one fucker, and by the time you kill him, it's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. Oh, wait a minute. That's the exit to the fucking level.
Oh, no. Because in the Old Blood, the enemies just keep coming.
Right.
So you have to find that captain and kill him, and then you have to kill off everything that it spawned.
So were there scenarios where it was a forever spawn?
Oh, every time.
I feel like there were some scenarios where it seemed like there was, but eventually you would come to the end of them.
Nope. I've tested it out. I've tested it out on every level. Every time I've gotten spotted by a captain, I was like,
And
okay,
they
I'll just kill my way. I'll kill my way through. And as soon as you think you've cleared your way through, all suddenly there's new spawns behind you.
Yeah, now that I have seen, and eventually they just converge on you, and it's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I believe it's the same thing in the New Order as well. They will keep coming until you get that alarm turned off one way or the other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense because like there's an alarm. So
well, you're kind of in a Nazi base, so they kind of have unlimited resources in terms of throwing people at you.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's not exactly like they're hiding from you.
At the same point, it's kind of against what we're used to, where like you clear out, all the spawns that come through, and then you take care of the alarm, and you're done. Yeah.
No, I
did my best to make sure, and I'm still doing it, both in the New Order and the Old Blood, to make sure that anytime that I see that little fucking detective or detected little heartbeat thing up on the upper right hand corner, I'm like, oh, I have a captain. I need to make sure I take that fucker out as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
ASAP.
And it is in both the New Blood and the Old. So
Old Blood and New Order,
yeah.
Man, I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, actually, there is one other thing I wanted to note, and that was how. And again, I realize it's a video game, so I really can't hold them that culpable for this. But how unrealistic some of the weapons are. Like, all right, I have a silencer on this pistol, and I'm gonna gun down this captain that is 1,000, or not 1,000, but like 100 yards away. I'm gonna take this fucker out with a single headshot. Why? Because he is perfectly lined up in my crosshairs. That's not how it works in real life. I'm sorry.
Well, no, of course not. But I think a lot of shooters do that. But also both Bethesda and Machine Games was very, very clear that the Old Blood was making fun of those B movies. And so you have ridiculous stuff like that, and I think that they hit that on the head very, very well.
Yeah, I felt like I had the Halo pistol, where it was like I could gun down anybody with a single shot from all the way across the map.
Well, you had no bullet drop, which was awesome. So as soon as you realized this, soon as you had a perfect line of sight, you could shoot, and your bullet didn't drop, and okay, this is fantastic.
It's like you could literally take out anyone but a heavy as long as you could see them and put them in your crosshairs.
Yep.
From anywhere on the map.
And so I very much enjoyed it because also it became much more of a game versus
as long as a patrolling guy didn't see the person you had just dropped.
Right.
That was where things got tricky. But yeah, I mean just kind of the over the topness of it, I think, really made it kind of fun and refreshing. And it was definitely a different kind of first-person shooter than what I've been playing lately. So.
Well, I also like the visuals of it. I mean, it was much more colorful, much more detailed.
Colorful? It's a bunch of grays and blacks.
Versus what? Destiny's oranges?
Yeah.
And browns?
Well, all right, I'm not comparing it to other things. I'm just saying it seems very...
it looked
similar from the last
generation. It looked a lot better than
a lot of grays and blacks and... and reds.
Okay, the New Order.
Also in the castle.
It's actually the Old Blood is actually much more brightly colored than the New Order.
Really?
Well, yes, because the New Order is an alternate history. And what if the Nazis won? And it takes place in the 60s when the Nazis won, and it's not a happy. It is not a happy thing. It's very bleak.
I will also say in the New Order you had several different settings, so you had a lot of different color palettes coming and going. So, I mean, you had the battlefield, you had hospitals, you had a house. There was just a lot more going on there, and it looked really good. And yeah, the Old Blood was all set in the castle, but at the same point, it's not the Browns that we're so used to at this point. So, to me, I thought it looked really good. They did a really nice job contrasting the blues of the castle walls with the reds of their flags. And
okay, sure, fair enough.
One thing I will say, Chris will notice this soon, but the Old Blood ends exactly where the New Order starts.
I think they said, it finishes like a matter of a few hours before.
Yes. Because from what I decided in the New Order, and then how I saw the Old Blood end, like I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen now. This is really sad. Yeah.
See, now I'm curious, because I haven't finished the New Order, is that going to take away from my appreciation of the New Blood, or playing them in the reverse order, like how I'm doing it? Will that change my experience? It's going to change my experience for sure.
I don't think. Okay, playing the Old Blood first is not going to do anything to your experience of the New Order. I don't think that. Playing the New Order first, you'll get some references that the Old Blood makes fun of, like what I already said. There is some of that. Chris doing at the same time is kind of interesting because he's looking at two completely different B.J. Blazkowiczes. I mean, one's happy-go-lucky in a sense, just a very much more. He's very upbeat, whereas but in the New Order, because the Nazis won and they're all very much alone, and the decisions he had to make.
It's pretty bleak.
It's very bleak.
I mean, within the first hour of the New Order, you had to make a pretty tough decision.
Awful decision. Like I sat there, letting it sit. I sat there for about 20 minutes, wondering if it would make it for me. Just but it doesn't.
So that you don't have to be culpable for the decision that's made.
Well, I mean, in the narrative of the game, it says that if you don't make a decision, he will make a decision for you.
He doesn't, though.
He doesn't. So he's really waiting for your decision, and it really outlines the two different paths that the game will take.
Yeah.
And
I think that they make you make that decision because it's going to affect you more than if.
Yeah.
And it really. Yeah.
And the Old Blood is very much more happy-go-lucky for better
for
or worse.
Yeah.
It's
there's a palate cleanser
contrast, and if you're playing both games at the same time, it's very, very stark.
Oh yeah, it's like silly, serious.
Yeah, one is like your world is ending, and one is like, hey, we may save the world. Let's do what we can, and we'll make snide-ass comments. And
let's kill some Nazis.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, but the New Order, that was my shooter of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the New Order.
A lot of people felt the same way.
And I stand by that.
It's still a very good game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So.
Well, I'm excited to get back to that once I finish the Old Blood. So.
You are almost done. If you have any trouble with the final boss, text me because I can guarantee if you have trouble with the final boss, it's because you did what I did, and that you made it too fucking hard on yourself.
Fair enough.
Just sit in a corner and snipe them. That's
okay. That's the answer for everything in this game, apparently.
Not for the final boss. You won't get very far doing that.
Okay.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. You're actually going to have to take charge.
No, this is not okay.
Wait a minute, it's going to require effort? I don't like this idea at all.
So, because I'm probably getting the games confused, but Blake can answer this. So, is it the Old Blood where you sneak? It's Old Blood where you sneak on the train and try to and get the plans. Well, whatever, and to get the plans from Death's Head Second in Command. Did you bring her wine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say about that.
If it involves wine, it's definitely the Old Blood.
Well, that whole scene where she's like, has you sit down, I got so nervous. I almost felt like I was BJ in that situation. I was shaking. What's gonna happen?
Wait.
What's gonna fucking happen?
Wine, or is it brings you coffee? Because there's a scene in the New Order where you're trying to take coffee across the train cars, and the chick calls the order, and she's playing the card thing, and you're like, yeah, okay, I don't know what's going on. And you think she's gonna kill you, and she's like, haha, no, I'm just kidding.
They have that in the beginning of the Old Blood too, where you have to show them your credentials, your Nazi credentials, and he's like,
no,
what's your favorite food from Frankfurt? And he goes, hot dog.
Yeah.
And then they all start laughing, and they think it's the funniest thing ever.
This is completely.
No.
This is like she's reading a tarot reading of you.
Yeah, the scene on the train. I know exactly what Chris is talking about. That was tense. That actually made me tense, but not as tense as the scene because basically the whole point of the Old Blood is that you're trying to get Death's Head's location, and
well, maybe that was in the Old Blood.
And you get to this, and it's before the Nazi zombies come, and you get rescued by a nurse who is there undercover, and she helps sneaks you into, I forget her name, that she's the head woman, the final boss of the game, and because she's a big wine connoisseur, so you bring her some wine, and then
isn't it like Helena or something like that?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, it's Helena. She
takes a sip and she asks you what you think of it, and then she's like, "Well, please sit down." And the whole time I'm like, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh god!" To me, that was more intense than the coffee scene with
So you're not the guard that's flirting with her. That's what you're saying?
No.
Oh damn.
No. Like he's basically trying to get in there, give her wine, and as he sets down the tray with her wine, gives her the wine, and then picks up the tray along with the file. That's the thing, and then goes. But then she starts talking to him. It's like, shit.
Oh snap.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to completing this game, along with the New Order.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear both of y'all's reactions when you finish either the Old Blood. Actually, not as much the Old Blood, because the Old Blood has a very typical ending, but the New Order especially.
Yeah, the Old Blood, I would say, story is not its strong suit. It's just more concentrated on having fun, having a good time.
Yeah, the New Order, there's a decision that has to be made, and it changes some of the perks you get, and apparently some of the storyline. So
yes.
There's a part of me that really wants to play it twice just to kill a different person off and then see how the game changes.
It changes what characters you meet in the 60s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a very interesting choice because they do a very good job in the New Order of building up both characters up to that point, and you're like, I don't know which one I'm going to kill off, and you have to kill one of them off because it's just how the game goes. And apparently,
spoilers. Come on, man.
I didn't list what character you kill, so
yeah, you don't know which ones you have to pick, but yeah, you do have to choose one to die, and he dies in an awful way.
Also,
regardless.
Also, kind of boring stuff. Again, you're still choosing which characters die, and you have that choice. And yeah, I am.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know.
I'm not sure where you're going. I'm not sure where you're going with this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's cool. All right.
There you go.
All right, Carrie, I'll turn the reins back over to you. Sorry.
All right. So, I think that we've
You've beaten this horse rather dead.
Yes, with the lead pipe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And tapped it in.
So
yeah, we didn't tap it too. Double tap.
At this time, we were supposed to have Ross pick next month's pick, but fuck him.
Fuck that guy.
Since he decided not to show up and decided to go work out at the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going.
Are you here next week? Are you here next month? By the way.
I am. I'm not. My last month is September.
All right. Fantastic. Well, then I will get this in. So, I would like for all of us to play Her Story.
Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
Why?
I thought you were going to pick Rocket League and I was going to cry.
No, I'm not going to pick Rocket League. I wanted to pick Her Story, which is a game I've actually been playing quite a bit. It's an emergent storytelling game where essentially you are a person who has been given access to a police database that has a recording of all of the testimonies from one person in a court case, and they were recorded at like 4 or 5 different times, and you can do a full text search off of what this person said throughout their testimonies. And based off of their testimony, you have to try to go in and build out the story and decipher what actually happened. It's pretty cool. It's the kind of game that I would really kind of get behind. I think it's really fun, and it's a storytelling mechanism that we really haven't seen before. I would say probably the closest parallel I would say is like the audio diaries in the BioShock games, or I believe they also had it in Spec Ops The Line. Didn't they have audio diaries or something like that?
Sort of.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure that Spec Ops or that BioShock had
BioShock, yeah.
But essentially,
Batman Arkham Asylum had him.
Right, but this is it's full video, and you're watching this person's testimony, and so you can search for any word in the English language, and it will pull it from if it appeared in any one of her testimonies, and you can then play back that video, and through piecing through all these, you'll get more context, at which point you have more things to run searches on, and then you can kind of flesh out the story of what happened through this weird scenario. And I'm not even going to say what the scenario is, because you learn that as you're playing through the game, but it is super, super interesting, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of it.
Cool.
Yep.
It's actually been in my Steam wish list, so...
Yep, and I believe, is it $10?
I don't know. It can't be much more than that, though.
Yeah, I think I got it on iOS for less than 10, but I know it's for sure available on Steam, and it's awesome. It's really awesome, and as far as storytelling goes, I haven't played anything like it. It's pretty fun, so I'm curious to see what you guys end up thinking of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like story-based games. Yeah. I haven't been playing one lately, so
that's why I thought you would also like this. And by the way, fuck Russ for not being able to be here, because this is supposed to be his pick. But actually, I think I lucked out because I know Ross had actually been talking about picking this one, so I kind of beat him to the punch. So I'm glad I was able to do it while you're still here, so we can kind of get your impressions.
Chris thought it was his turn this month, and he was going to do Rocket League, and I was like, oh.
Hey, at least that game's free.
I know,
PS4
but,
for free.
Also, I really like how Carrie has nominated herself out of rotation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, but I am out of rotation.
I think we need to make Carrie pick next month, and then do the...
So skip Ross again? Fuck Ross.
Yep. Yeah, and then after Carrie, because she's gotta be gone, then Ross and Chris go after that. I think that makes sense.
I'll have to figure this out. Okay.
Yeah. I'll have to scramble up the order.
Yeah.
But either way, I definitely think...
Hey, Ross, this is your fault, by the way.
Yep, it's all your fault. If you would have been here, none of this shit would have happened. It's all your fault.
Fucking Ross.
Yep. Well, I fucked up. Yes, you did, sir. You most certainly did. So, because of that, I think her story would be a great game to play next month. Any objections?
None. All approved.
Chris?
As long as it's on a console I can play it on.
It's on PC.
For the 1 week that I'll have to play it.
It's on PC, and it's also on iOS.
But it's not like it's a 20-hour game either, is it? I mean...
No.
It's like a 5 to 10 hour game.
Yeah.
I don't even know that it's that. I feel like you can get to the meat of the story pretty quickly. I honestly I don't know how long or how much recordings that they have in the game, but I will say that you will get out of it the time that you put into it. So if you want to put more time into it, you'll get the story better fleshed out. If you want to just kind of get the bare bones, you can just kind of do a basic pass of it, and you'll get a rough idea of what was happening in the story. The more you dig in, the more time it will take, but the more it'll flesh out the story, and I can guarantee you, the more you will end up being interested in seeing what happens.
Well, it sounds a lot like, Gone Home. I mean, you could probably burn through that rather quickly too, but the more you delved into it, though, the slightly more interesting it got.
Yeah, and I will say that the Well, all right. You know what? I don't want to get into it. We'll get to it next month when we actually talk about the game. See, I'm gonna end up ruining this fucking discussion because
Okay.
I want to talk about it now.
All
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Well,
okay. Well, then why don't we go into other things that we've been playing? I've already said I haven't been playing a story game. That's because I've been working on way too much Lego Jurassic World. Because I was working on that strategy guide, and so I played on both the PS4 and on the Vita because the strategy guide had both.
Is it
Uh,
like two separate games
they're actually two.
essentially?
They're actually two separate games, but at
Like they
least
have been. They have
yeah,
been like that for a long time.
they have. But at least this one, I was kind of worried that it had gone back to how the games on the handheld were going, which was just awful.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've gone back to the original format where they did just more of a truncated version of the original game, which is much better.
Is it
Um,
like a similar layout and playthrough of all the levels, or is it
sim-
still original levels?
it's it's similar to the console, whereas what they originally did way back when they started doing the handheld and console differences, but it was always a truncated version of the console. It was not as big of a hub world.
I think you're being too kind. You could have used bastardized.
No, because of what it became was worse. And then they decided to make it completely different from the consoles. And instead of making it like your typical Lego game, they made it more of challenges where you could die, and if you died, you had to start the level over, and or levels were timed, or it was a race, or it was a quick time events, or and
Sure.
and they were awful. So uh, now like see, I don't know when this started with Lego Batman 3 or what, because I haven't really checked it out since the Lego movie, because that was I couldn't even get through that. Um, but they've kind of gone back to that, but they've made it in a way that on the handheld that's just as fun as it was on the console, and they've made
Well, that's good.
even made different trophies, and uh, so I really enjoyed it, but I platinumed in both. So I am
You platinumed both of them?
both of them. So I
Good lord.
am done with both of those, and I kind of want to get into the story game, but at the same time, like, man, I'm still in that action, nonsensical stuff at the same time. So I can't really. I'm having hard motivation because I'm supposed to be reviewing a couple of stuff, and I'm having a lot of motivation problems to actually do it. So I'll just go ahead and talk for Blake since he decided to go to the bathroom. Blake's played more Destiny, and nobody cares. So Chris.
Yeah, so I've been playing Drive Club. This is finally we got the PlayStation Plus version, right?
Right.
And I've been trying to give it a chance because it was free and it cost me like 60 gigs worth of download time. Uh, I'm actually growing to enjoy it. The visuals, the audio are all pretty good. The racing is actually growing on me. It's fairly solid.
You sound so forced. It's
No, it's. I mean, it was a free game, right? So all I had to do was waste my data cap to get it. So, I was. To me, I was expecting somewhere between a Forza and a Gran Turismo, and this is not. It's kind of like a Gran Turismo where it's more simish, but there's still a little bit of arcadey aspects in it. So if you do a lot of racing, you kind of know what that's going on because you either have very simmy games or you have very arcade racing. And this kind of it just treads just under simish. So there's still a lot of drifting and there's a lot of simming. And as far as like you want to draft people because you get points, Drive Club. I don't even know what the currency is, but if you draft behind people, you get money for it. As soon as you hit somebody, you also only lose money. If you go off the course and hit something, you lose money. So there's this delicate balance of like how much risk do I want to put in and how much reward do I get out of it. Because if I fuck up on that risk, I'm losing a lot of money. But I could also gain an ass ton of coin off this. So, and based off of what I've seen, because Project Cars was another one that I was very interested in, because this was a game that's kind of been in development for a couple of years. It was promised on PC. I've been following it on Steam for quite a while. And just based off of like the visuals and the racing physics, it seems to me that Drive Club has nailed it down better than what Project Cars has nailed it down. So, and I don't know if Project Cars is a lot more sim. So you'd have a much better sim racing experience on Project Cars, but based off of visuals, gameplay aspect, to me, Drive Club is a much better value. And if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you can't argue with free. So,
but you can. It's kind of stupid, but you can.
You can, but at this current point, I will say for a free racing game, Drive Club is pretty much well worth your download and hard drive space. So, when I first started playing it, I wasn't so sure about it. I gave it a couple of races. Their menus are a clusterfuck. Like, just to get to a race, you're 4 menus deep in order to do just a fucking race. So that part to me is stupid. The whole aspect of they bring in your friends list. So I have 2 friends. It looks like I might have a third person at this current point jumping in. You'll be racing around, and all of a sudden there'll be like a little checker flag area, and you have to kind of look to see what that is. And it could be like, hey, your friend did this at 100 and X miles per hour. Can you beat that? And all of a sudden you're like, I'm in a fucking Mini Cooper that's not even souped up. I can't climb this hill at 190 miles an hour. But it gives you like that little extra challenge.
Why are you driving a Mini Cooper?
Because that's one
you
of the...
You pretentious asshole. Go smack yourself.
I would totally smack myself if it wasn't for the fact that that was one of the race classes that the game forces you into. So the fact that I'm forced into a Mini Cooper as opposed to a Ford GT, it's what the game wants, so I have to abide by it. I don't enjoy the fact that I'm racing in a Mini Cooper. Unless it's in a rally stage and it's like the 1960s Mini Cooper, then I'll let that pass. But if it's the BMW Mini Cooper, yeah, no. let's just not go that way. So I enjoy the fact that not only do you have the game challenges, but also you have random friend challenges that you're trying to beat, so that it gives you a little extra. I want to be better at this and beat my friends. That way they have something when they come in and try to beat it. And I haven't really seen where it's like a Need for Speed thing where when you come into the game, all of a sudden it tells you, hey, look, your friend beat you on this, this, and this, and you need to go kick their ass. And you're like, okay, I'll do that. But, I mean, overall, it's a free game. It looks fantastic. It sounds really good. The racing is pretty solid, depending on where you're at in the racing spectrum. If you're more simish, this isn't going to really appeal to you. If you're arcadey, if you're on the high-end arcade side, this isn't going to work either. But if you like a little bit of both, you like a little bit of realism, but you also like to be able to do just stupid drifts and drive off road and still be able to win. This kind of fits that nice middle ground, so yeah.
All right.
It's a free game. Get it. You have to have PlayStation Plus, but at the same time, if you have PlayStation Plus, you're getting a lot of free games. There you go.
Well, and honestly, you've been waiting for this for long enough. For God's sakes, you better play it. I have been bitching about it for so long.
I have been waiting it for that long. Finally it came out, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and download it now because it's there, and I'll download
personally,
it. So.
I downloaded it just more out of shock that holy shit, they actually made it out. I never thought that. I genuinely thought they were never going to release the game.
Yes,
I
and
really
your
did.
Mediacom data caps hated you for it because that download for this fucking game was stupid.
Uh-huh. Which,
You
by the
had-
way,
You had like an initial download, a patch download, and then an application download, and all that equated out to like 50 gigs worth of download space.
oh, I know. And coming out in the same month that I had to download The Old Blood, and I, being a dipshit, went and put myself in the Windows 10 fast update ring. Bad decisions all around. So it was like all of a sudden, my data cap got chewed up 12 days into my month. Like, it was completely gone after 12 days. I just went, oh dear God, what have I done?
And this
It was
is
not
why
good.
data caps suck.
And
And
I
also-
was
And
I was
also,
streaming 3 different channels on Twitch all at once all weekend long.
Wait,
go
wait, wait,
fuck yourself.
Carrie, I found this on the floor for you.
Hold on. I think I found a couple over here too. That's
wait,
weird.
oh look, I found this one too.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh.
So cute.
See, now this is going to come up when I run for political office. It's just going to be me just giving the double gun salute. It's going to be wonderful. Wonderful. This is why I can't run for public office, so I thank you guys for this, actually. You're saving me.
No, wait,
a lot
wait.
of-
If this is what it takes to get you to not run for political office, I don't know if we can help you. Because you should have already known that you shouldn't run for political office.
Oh, come on. Come on. It's not like I'm... Like,
No.
okay, all right. So, yeah, it's probably...
What I like about this whole conversation is that if I remember correctly, Carrie said, "Oh, I have a data cap. It's like 1 terabyte."
Oh, go fuck yourself! Dear Christ! Are you fucking kidding me? This is bullshit!
And I'm like, I have 350 gigs.
Yeah, same for me. And it's horseshit.
No, see, because it was like right before Chris came to visit, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, we moved to Uverse. We have a data cap now." And he's like, "Oh, it sucks." Like I said, yeah, I think Chuck says 1 terabyte,
God damn it.
and he went on this string of obscenities.
Yeah, are you kidding me? That could fill up my hard drive in 2 months. My entire hard drive.
Again, Carrie, just so it's on me, let me just slowly raise it. There we go. No,
There
stop.
it is.
There
There
it is.
it is. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Yay! Woo!
I'm sorry, you guys live in a state that sucks.
No, it's not our
Yeah, of
state. It's the
course.
fucking internet provider. It's Mediacom.
Because of where you
works.
live. See,
Yeah.
because you guys don't have cool media providers where you live. So I'm sorry,
Right.
your state sucks.
See, I loved it when I was living in Detroit when I could get Uverse. That was fucking
You
amazing.
don't hear people say that every day.
Hey,
Yeah,
Carrie,
I
are you
lived in
kidding me?
Detroit and I
Compared to this goddamn shit show, are you kidding me? I could get 40 megabits down and I had no data cap. It was a fucking amazing. Now I would murder a midget in order to get that kind of bandwidth out here now. Are you kidding me? It's just awful.
I have a midget
Awful.
that loves next door.
What
Oh my
now?
gosh, if any midgets go missing in Des Moines, Iowa, we all know who to blame.
Blame this guy. Blame this guy. Yep. I
Asshole.
tried to make a ritual sacrifice in order to get more bandwidth. It was all a misguided effort. I'm sorry. Yes.
Murder a midget. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. This show has really gone off the rails. You know what, Carrie? You should take us home.
God, and he says that what Chris says is offensive, and okay.
I didn't even get to talk about what I played, man.
No,
I already talked about it
we
for
already
you.
talked about what you played.
No, hold on. No. We're not doing
No,
this.
I said
no.
that you play Destiny, nobody cares.
No. Hold on, Carrie. Chris cares.
No,
No,
I
he
don't.
doesn't.
I
Oh,
don't.
this son of a bitch. He's lying. He's
I
lying
don't-
to you.
I really don't care.
He's
He actually
lying.
laughed and nodded, so.
Yeah, I honestly don't give a shit. Carrie, take us home.
Liar. Hold on. I want to hear, Chris. What did you think
what?
about all the new updates that they announced for the
You know
Taken
what?
game?
Why don't you talk about Destiny? I'm gonna go take a leak and refill
No!
my drink.
I need a partner in crime on this. Motherfuck. God damn it. This is why we can't have nice things. And here's the problem.
We had nice things. You decided you have to keep on talking about the
See?
things that no one cares about.
See, Carrie, here's the problem. If I were to say throw to you to do the outro, Chris isn't there to hit stop. So that means we have to sit here and fill time until he comes back to his seat to hit stop.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Oh, so that means I'm gonna have to talk about Destiny.
He's gonna be fired.
It's hard to fire those who are not paid, Carrie.
I pay him in free guides.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can understand that.
And maybe I'll keep that Dark Souls 3 mobile phone battery that I got, the mobile battery charger
A
that I
mobile.
received.
Hold on. A battery charger or an actual
Yeah.
battery for the phone?
No, a battery charger.
So it's just like a plug that's Dark Souls themed.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? They've thought of everything.
What do you mean? It's not a plug. It's an actual mobile battery charger, so that you can hook it up to your phone wherever you are. You don't have to be near a wall.
You talking like a little battery pack type thing?
Yes. Uh huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it gives you a second life. It makes it so you can live again.
Sure.
No? Nothing? All right. Fine.
Yeah, that was like at E3. I got the most useful swag ever. I got 3 portable battery chargers.
See, like that is what I like. I want swag that I can actually put to use on my flight home. Come on. More publishers need to do that shit. Because during the show, you're going to burn through like 4 or 5 batteries during the span of a day. So why not give me some mobile battery chargers? See, that is smart. That is super smart. And they know how to make sure their swag is going to get used, and you won't forget about their games. That's super smart.
Exactly.
I mean, hell, I still use my Rockstar key that has a 2 gig USB card built into it. I still have that on my keychain today. And I believe it still has assets for Grand Theft Auto 4?
Mm-hmm.
It was either Grand Theft Auto 4 or Red Dead. I don't remember which. But anyway, I have been playing more Destiny. I am in the pursuit of getting 3 characters, one of each class, to level 34. I've already gotten my Titan there. I'm in the process of getting my my wizard there. I'm sorry, not my... Is it my wizard? I forget. I get all the classes fucked up. So this is why I need Chris here. Chris,
you're fired.
Oh Jesus, what?
Chris, what are the other classes? I've drank too much. What are the other classes in Destiny? There's Titan, Wizard, and Warlock, or there's Titan, what, and Warlock?
There's Titan, Hunter, and Warlock.
Thank you, Hunter. My Hunter is level 33, and I have a level 29 Warlock that I'm trying to level up right now. I need to do Prison of Elders one more time with any one of my characters at level 32, and I should be able to get my Hunter to level 34, and then that means all I got left is my Warlock. And I should be all set.
Is 34 the cap?
Yep, 34 is the cap.
At the current moment, yes.
Yep, and that means I will be all set for when the Taken King comes out. It'll be perfect. I'll just be able to hit the ground running. I'll be all set, man. It'll be fun. Then that means all I have to do is keep doing Prison of Elders every week to get my etheric lights that I can then apply to my weapons to get all of my weapons up to 360. Yep, up to 365, which I'm in the process of doing. And I've got a bunch of exotics. I'm sitting on like 5 or 6 exotic shards that I'm just waiting to upgrade weapons with. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Good times. Good times. I just finished up leveling up my Hawkmoon. And my I did Hawkmoon and Last Stand? I think it's Last Stand, the other hand cannon that I've been working through right now. And then I've already Last Word, thank you, Last Word. And I've already got a Gallowhorn and a
Yellowhorn.
It's Gallowhorn.
It's Yellowhorn.
Whatever. Same difference. It's getting nerfed when Taken King comes out anyway.
Oh, whatever. Wolfpack rounds are getting nerfed.
Hey, now I'm actually curious.
That's like the only part of it that's getting nerfed.
All right, Chris, I'm
Wolfpack rounds.
I'm curious what you think about this, and this is something I've discussed with some other people. They're nerfing those weapons, but my theory is they're nerfing all of those weapons so it'll be easier when they have the Taken King to introduce their new #1 heavy weapon. That will replace Gallowhorn.
Yellowhorn has become the thing, like the go-to weapon.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, the Yellowhorn has become like the go-to weapon. In fact, it has become so much the go-to weapon as far as raids are concerned that if you don't have one, people generally get kicked.
Right.
And to me, Bungie has been like, no, we don't want to have a game where people have to have specific gear in order to participate in the higher end content.
And let's be honest, people who have already got a Gjallarhorn, they have no incentive to continue playing once they've hit level 34 with their Guardians. Well, it's like they've hit the cap. They're done. There's nothing else to get.
They're grinding faction, and they're
right. But there's
a lot of other reasons to keep playing other than the fact that you have a Gjallarhorn. But the Gjallarhorn or Gjallarhorn is
Gjallarhorn, yeah.
It's become such a crutch.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. No argument.
There are raids where if you show up and you don't have that weapon,
you're fucked.
The raids will kick you out, and
the raids won't kick you out. You'll just get your ass handed to you in a paper sack.
No, I've watched streams where somebody has showed up without a Gjallarhorn, whatever, and they've been kicked because they don't have that specific weapon.
Hold on. They're kicked by members of their party. That's different. Like, members of their party will say, no, we want to have somebody with a Gjallarhorn.
No, it's because everybody in the party needs to have the specific weapon.
Yes, I get that. I totally get that.
And to me, Bungie has said, no, this is not how we want our game to go. And in fact, if you look at the House of Wolves expansion, they made it so that way you basically got to the end game really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you would experience the end game content as opposed to the Dark Below, which was a grind.
Yeah, and it was slow and it was monotonous and it wasn't fun.
And Bungie wants all people, to be able to play all of the content. So
okay, well, here's an idea.
To have this crutch of,
can I offer it an alternative?
Well, go ahead.
I would say, build up the power of the other exotics then. Don't nerf a weapon that's already powerful. Add more power to the existing arsenal.
But they're nerfing hand cannons as well.
Yeah, but then they're also taking and they're buffing assault rifle or auto rifles significantly.
Because they want people to play with assault rifles. They don't want hand cannons to replace scout rifles.
All I'm saying is,
or sniper rifles.
Instead of nerfing the weapons that are exotics, the ones that are supposed to be special, don't nerf those. Just build up the existing lower level arsenal so that it's at least maybe not the
because you're not watching the power curve.
With it.
You're not looking at the power curve and the fact that you can only have one exotic equipped in each slot. Which means you have to choose which exotic you're going to have.
Right. So then make some of your legendaries more substantial. That's what I'm saying.
Because I will admit, hand cannons were OP because I was sniping across a stage.
Oh God, yes, yeah. Well,
so hand cannons, nerf. Gjallarhorn, however you want to pronounce it. It became like the weapon to have. If you didn't have that weapon, you kind of sucked, and now they're making it that way.
You didn't suck. You just had a nerfed arsenal. There's a difference.
Nope. Apparently, you haven't played online enough or watched enough streams to understand that.
I just have a Gjallarhorn, so I don't have this problem.
Congratulations, you have that weapon.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I realize that came off like a douchebag there.
Yeah, you pretty much were a douchebag.
No, I understand that when I got it, I got super lucky.
You know what? I can't hear you over the douchiness of your words at the current moment.
You're just jealous. You don't have a Gjallarhorn. That's why you're bitter.
You're right, and I really don't care because both of my brothers have it, you have it, and I really don't see a need to just grind my way to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what I see is all of these nerfs.
Do your cheeks hurt? Do your cheeks hurt from puckering with all of those sour grapes?
No, not really.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
That was really bad. Also, all these nerfs.
Yes.
All I see is the Bungie saying, "Hey, look, in Taken King, you're going to have new weapons that are going to be the weapons to have."
Right. And do you think that some of those unseat the Gjallarhorn as the weapon, quote unquote, the weapon to have?
I'm sure they do because this is Destiny 2.0 starting to kick in. So I mean, Bungie saying Destiny is a 10-year ordeal. The Yellowhorn, Gallowhorn...
Ordeal? I don't know that ordeal is the proper adjective for that, I think.
Okay, right. So, to have one weapon be the weapon, I mean, it had its year, right? We're starting year 2 at this point.
It's been an awesome year, by the way.
Yeah, it has been a good year. But at this point, it's time for new things to come in and start replacing stuff.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the weapon nerfs, I'll put nerfs in quotes.
Chris, did they weaken the power, ability, and effectiveness of the weapon?
The Wolfpack rounds were nerfed.
Did they limit the power, effectiveness
yes.
of the weapon? Then they nerfed it.
But at the same point, we could also take the Mortal Kombat X strategy and say that they have normalized it because they understand the new weapons that are coming out. So
okay. Let me clarify.
I'm not going to argue this.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
We're arguing virtual weapons.
Yes, I am totally being a contrarian here. I understand why they did it. They nerfed the weapon because it actually makes it easier then when the Taken King comes out in order to implement weapons that are the new must-haves. I understand that. I'm just saying that instead of weakening something that has become one of the more unifying aspects of the game itself, like everybody, what is, if you don't have a Yellowhorn, what's everybody trying to do? They're trying to get one.
And all I'm hearing at the current point is people wanting to acquire a Yellowhorn that is OP before it gets nerfed.
Right.
It's just like the Thorn before it got nerfed.
The Thorn hasn't been nerfed yet. It's going to be, though.
Yes, it was nerfed. It was OP
so they already put it in?
Yes.
It was even more OP than it is now?
Yes. There are several weapons that have been OP beforehand that people wanted to get before it got nerfed, because as soon as Bungie said, we are going to nerf this weapon, people wanted it because they wanted to experience it before, when it was OP.
Yeah.
So, really, all this is doing is driving people to play more, so that way they can try to grind out a Yellowhorn, Gallowhorn.
While they can.
While it is OP, while it still has the high-powered Wolfpack rounds, before it hits that nerf. It's making people want to grind out getting a Hawkmoon while hand cannons have this obscene amount of power.
However, hold that thought, because people on Xbox, they don't even get the Hawkmoon. That's not available until
on September 15th.
Right, which is the nerfed
probably the nerfed version of it. But
they never get it in its full.
The Hawkmoon is still a fantastic weapon.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
They're going to nerf how many rounds it can carry at first until you level it up and yada, yada, yada. But
if you've already, honestly, if you're using the Hawkmoon at this point, you've probably already got a fully leveled one anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, this is basically Bungie saying, hey, look, we are going to make the high-end power weapons of year 1 of Destiny a little bit lower power, so that way we can make room for year 2 weapons. And I fully support that, because also it gives people that have been playing for hundreds of thousands of hours of whatever, it gives those people the ambition to be like, okay, look,
I can come back and be
I'm going to replace my rocket launcher. I'm going to replace my hand cannon. I'm going to replace my scout rifle, because there are new weapons. There are new instances. To me, this is just Bungie's way of saying, hey, look, we understand year 1 is done now. We need to move on to year 2. It's no different than World of Warcraft saying, hey, look, we've been out for a couple of years. We need to kind of move on. It's an MMO. I mean, let's face it. Destiny is an MMO. They need to kind of move on.
Right.
So, to me, the weapon balances or changes, however you want to say it, it's a thing they have to do in order to make way for the next expansion that they're getting ready to do.
Right.
So to me,
and I don't disagree, and I do not disagree with that at all. I'm just saying that they could have approached it differently, and so they decided to go the opposite way and weaken the weapons that were previously the must-haves.
I've played enough MMOs to realize that this is how things go. So to me,
I know.
For them to weaken a weapon, the thorn. If you want to take something that you want to weaken, the thorn.
Which, by the way, that weapon needs to be weakened. I don't have one, and this is not sour grapes, but that fucking weapon needs to be taken down.
Right. So they're taking that DOT. They're taking the dot down as far as damage. But now it stacks up to 5 times if you fire it from the hip. So,
but
if you
hand
take the
cannon,
fact
I could
that
say from the hip is down, especially on the thorn where it's actually lower.
right, and the fact that it's a hand cannon and now it's getting that range nerf as well.
Right.
But at the same point,
if you get hit with one at close range, you're fucked.
So they're weakening it for PvP.
Right.
But if you figure the fact that that dot stacks 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Fire from the hip, in PvE, all of a sudden the thorn becomes even more stronger than it is currently because you're firing
PvE.
In PvE, because they've realized that in PvP it's become kind of like a crutch.
They said that, like, what was it? It was in terms of Guardian loadouts. They said during the most recent Iron Banner, it was like over 25% of people had that as part of their main loadout.
Because it stopped shields from regenning.
Yep.
And
that's
it
where it
has that
pisses
nice
me
dot.
off.
And Carrie is so bored she's falling asleep.
Well, Chris, I feel like we need to have just like a Destiny 1 hour long rant fest.
Hey, you know what? If you want to do a corner of randomness and we just discuss Destiny, we can do that.
Well,
we can make that happen.
I also talked about doing and I hate to do a plug, but we also talked about doing a power button Destiny year 1 in review podcast.
I had agreed to do that.
All right. Okay. So
does Matt play Destiny?
Matt actually played through Destiny when it came out. He completed the campaign. He didn't do much in the way of end game because he rented the game. So it would be primarily Chris and I with this discussion. However, I feel like this could be fun. So maybe we'll keep it posted to our Twitter feeds. Maybe here in the next couple of weeks, Chris and I will get around to recording something.
Vegas soon.
Can you be on your best behavior, Chris? That's the hard part.
You know what? If I know that I have to do this and I have to do it sober, I can do it sober. So.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I didn't say sober. I just mean on your best behavior, like not swearing. Can you do that with alcohol in your system? You're not supposed to say that with laughing.
I can't. I can't say that without alcohol. I swear like a sailor. Fuck it.
Fair enough.
It's just how I work. So.
Right,
but if we're doing it for the power button, I can do my best to control.
You're not supposed to cuss on Matt's podcast?
No, it's not that you're not supposed to cuss. It's just it makes it harder because he does go and edit that stuff, and so it just makes it easier for him to go
Jesus
through.
Christ! Don't ever have me on there because I can't keep my mouth clean. I just can't.
Carrie,
yeah.
You know, well, if that happens, they just release an episode with explicit tags on it, and that's the end of it. We're good. And actually, we still need to do a discussion on what was it? It was achievement horage. I think that was one of the ones that we had in the bank that we wanted to do, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't remember anymore. It all blurs together. I literally have a spreadsheet on my desktop of episodes that we've thought of that we haven't recorded yet. And we have like 6 in the bank right now.
Well, if you want to do a Destiny 1, we should do it soon. Not next week because I'm going to
Right, because you're gone. But after that, we want to get together with the thought being that we can have something out before year 2 Destiny hits. Hopefully in August at some point.
Which is really quickly, so we should do it.
I know.
Following Gen Con, which is
September 16th or whatever it is. Is it 16th? that it comes out, or is it
we need
15th?
we need to do it within the next 2 weeks. Cause
Whatever it is,
is
it needs
busy,
to come out soon. I want that to come out real soon.
Okay, well, then let's talk offline about it, and we'll get the schedule within the next 2 weeks.
All right, then. Carrie, get us out of here.
Yeah.
Please.
What? You didn't enjoy our Destiny conversation? It's so much fun.
No.
Oh.
Hey, get off your pillow, pull out of your sleeping bag.
And by the way, Carrie, this is the same guy who said he wasn't interested in talking about Destiny yet. I'm just saying.
I thought with Ross not being here, maybe it wouldn't go 2 hours, but silly me.
Wow,
this has gone on too long once again.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I can't even think of how to wrap this up. If you guys have any recommendations for a book of the month, we'd be happy to hear any suggestions. I'm going to say no to Rocket League right now. I have no desire to play soccer with trucks and motorcycles.
Oh, come on, this was fun.
Knock yourself out. I'm glad people are having fun with it. It's just so not my thing.
I heard a lot of people saying game of the year for, just rockets with motorized vehicles.
Stop. Let her finish.
It sounds like fun. All right, sorry.
These people haven't played The Witcher 3 or Pillars of Eternity either.
Fair enough.
You can follow us on Twitter. Don't follow Ross because fuck him. Follow Blake at Grundy the Man. Chris is at Starvin. I'm at Crunchy Chocobo, and the site is at Strategy Reviews. And we will be back next month to discuss her story.
Sweet. I can't wait.
All right, so that's it. Chris, press the button, but at least sign off a little bit before you just hit it.
Press the button. Hey, if you don't wish Carrie a happy birthday after this podcast goes up, because it will go up on Friday, you're an asshole. So
wow!
Don't be an asshole. Nobody likes an asshole.
Nobody likes an asshole. So
they're just dirty, and they just cause nothing but problems.
Hey, if you don't flood Carrie's Facebook and Twitter feeds with happy birthday messages, I will be very disappointed. So, by the time this goes up, I can actually say this. Carrie, happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Should we sing happy birthday to her?
No.
No.
Oh, come on!
No. Peace!
Happy birthday